building an indie business in the center of venture capital. I am Alex Edmonds, also known as SupremeRumHam on the internet, and this is the Building an Indie Business podcast. Okay, so today's episode is about in-person events and promoting your podcast at in-person events. I'm going to talk about how to promote your podcast at in-person events, stickers, hosting an event, live podcast recordings, doing an online event, going to an event, a trade show or a convention, the benefits, the problems, and I'm doing a new segment where I talk about comedians and comparing podcasters and comedians. Okay, so let's get into it. Stickers. So why am I talking about stickers? Because I believe that people should hand out stickers at these events instead of business cards. Why? Because stickers are better than business cards. How many stickers should one bring to a event? Less than 50. And the way you can make it not look weird if you're going to just some random meetup is by having the stickers in separate pockets. So like, I always wear a sweater, so I could have 10 stickers in one pocket, 10 stickers in the other pocket, 10 stickers in the other jeans, or in my left pocket, and 10 stickers in my back pocket. And the reason why is so there's not a huge bulge of stickers, so it doesn't look like you're trying to promote your podcast at like a simple dinner meetup. So yeah, okay. Make sure that the stickers have the word podcast on them. And the reason why you want to do this is so when you hand out a sticker, people know when they get home that this sticker is for a podcast. Okay. Make sure. Okay. The next thing you want to do. Oh, wait. So, for a sticker, the holy grail is for someone to put a sticker on their laptop. And the reason why it is the holy grail is because it's an ad for the podcast every time someone goes out. So, in public, let's say they go to a coffee shop and they're working on their laptop. People will see the sticker for the podcast and they might ask, what is this sticker for? What is the podcast? And then they have to explain what about the podcast and why they have a sticker for it. The worst thing about the stickers is that, you might not hand them out, and you shouldn't hand them out. You should only hand them out to people that really show interest in the podcast, so they might stick it somewhere. Yeah. So the worst case scenario is that you're left with all these stickers. It's not that bad. Stickers never go bad. You can always hand them out at the next event, next meetup, next conference. Or you can sell them to your current audience for just to break even. So if you spend, $20 with stickers, just try to make $1 off every sticker. The stickers cost about 50 cents for each one. The stickers that I have, I spent like $10 on 20 stickers. They were pretty cheap compared to all the other things that you could buy for your audience and try to sell. Okay. Hosting an event. How you find people to go to these events is you create an invitation on your favorite meetup website. I like Eventbrite. And the reason why you want to do this is because it's validation for your meetup. If no one signs up, then you don't need to shell out a bunch of money for the meetup. Okay, so where do you find out the location for this meetup? One thing you can do is you can find companies that would benefit from people at the meetup, or becoming that have an interest in your subject, and you can ask those companies for a space to host the meetup. So, like, for example, for the Building an Indie Business podcast, I am targeting people that have an interest in podcasting. So I can find a podcast company and ask them for some space. The next place you can have a meetup is a coffee shop. And you take a table and you have your meetup there. You have a sign that says BAIB meetup. Okay. You want to niche down on these meetups because you don't want too many people showing up, so you get more one-on-one time with each person, and you could convince them to join your community or listen to your podcast. Okay. And you want to have them sign in so that you can send them a summary of the meetup. You get their email, and then you can also give them information about the next meetup. Okay. What kind of things do you want to do with this meetup? You want to ask them questions about their experience in the field. So for me, it would be, do you have a podcast? What type of podcast do you have? What kind of podcast do you want to start? What's stopping you from creating a podcast? And then I can be like, hey, here's my podcast. Listen to it for some advice. Then join my community and we can help you. Okay. You can also do a live podcast recording. So you can do a demonstration, like just like this, and then answer questions. Bring a second mic and you could do those questions for an episode. You want to host this at like a library where it's quiet and you're able to record. Okay. Online. So you can do the same thing as hosting an event in person. You create an invitation, and what you do, the difference is that you give, like, the location is, say, your Twitch account, and so you give them a link to your Twitch. The problem with this is that, like, for me, at the very least, I don't have a set time when I record a podcast, so I have to figure out when I can do a live stream when it's quiet in my house. So yeah, you might have that problem. The good thing about the online event is you don't have to have stickers, so that's cool. Okay. Going to an event. So you want to go to more casual events, and the reason why you want to do this is because if there's like a presentation or someone's giving a talk, you can't really get to know people. You can't talk to them and ask them questions. It would be good to bring stickers as well. You want to choose an event that has a similar topic to the podcast, so that way you can find people that are interested in your podcast very easily. You can ask them what kind of podcasts they listen to, and then you could be like, hey, I listen to this podcast, and it's your own podcast. So yeah. Alright, trade shows or conventions or whatever else I was thinking of. So at trade shows or conventions, you can get a booth. Sometimes all you need to do is fill out a form, and then you hand out stickers. You can also have pens, which are a little more expensive. That's probably $1 or $2 instead of 50 cents. But seriously, all the pens I have, they're branded. And so, yeah, people are less likely to throw away your pens. They might they might throw away your stickers, but not the pens, because pens have actual value. You can always write with a sticker. Not write with a pen, not a sticker. It would be pretty cool if you could write with a sticker, though. Okay. And what you can do at these conventions as well is you can give a talk. And what you can do, what talk you can give, is you can talk about your most popular episode. So my most popular episode would be dogs and web development. So I have to talk about why I started that episode, the results, and then I could talk about the lessons I learned from that episode. Or if you have guests, you can talk about what you've learned from those guests. Okay. The benefits. The benefits of these in-person events are you have a pipeline to guests if they're interested in being on a podcast. It's in person, so it's very easy to meet up with those people that are interested in becoming a guest. And you have a pipeline to listeners as well, because if you're targeting people that have an interest in your podcast, then they might be willing to listen to your podcast. Another benefit is personal connection. By meeting them in person, you're getting to know that those people that are interested in your podcast, and because you've met them and built up a connection with them, they might be more willing to listen to the podcast. Okay. Finally, you're building up a reputation in person. So these people get to know you. They get to see your work in action when they're listening to your podcast. And they might be interested in helping you out in some way because you've built up that personal connection. And maybe you'll get something more out of the meetups and hosting the events than just listeners. They might help you get a job or invest in your product by buying your product in the future. So yeah. Alright. The problems. Having to go out and prepare. So I hate going out, and I have to go out for all these events, right? So that's one problem. And then I have to prepare mentally, and I have to prepare stickers and all that. That's a hassle, and I don't like it. So that's one of the problems. Alright, spending money without a clear ROI. So to get these stickers, I have to spend money on them. And the ROI, return on investment, some people might call it radio on internet. I don't know if people will listen to my podcast and I will be able to monetize the money I'm spending. So it's very unclear whether this will be profitable for me. Not profitable, but I can't think of another word right now. Okay. The last thing is people tend not to show up. Okay. So I hosted an event at a pizza place. And 20 people signed up, and only 7 people showed up. People tend to not show up to events, especially something like a meetup where they don't know the person hosting it. So yeah, that was bad. But that's where I learned that niching down is really good, because I had more time to talk to everyone in the group, those 6 people. And I feel like that was the reason the meetup went really well. Okay. For comedians, and I'll talk about why I'm doing something about comedians later. So, the reason why I'm comparing comedians is because I listen to a lot of comedians, and I feel like they have similar qualities to podcasters. So, for a comedian, having an in-person event would be like being on stage. People show up to their event, their performance, and they're building a personal connection with the audience. And then at the end of the event, they're selling things like CDs, shirts at the end of the event. So yeah, okay. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.